Welcome to Jim White's Opportunity Investing Webinar. Jim has been investing, coaching executives, and turning around companies for over 30 years. Now your host, Dr. Jim White.
Hello, this is Jim White. It is May the 5th, 2020, and welcome to my Opportunity Investing Webinar. Our title this evening is Wheeling, Dealing, and Funding During COVID-19. And I just thought that was absolutely fantastic title. And one of our team members suggested that, and I loved it so well. So here we are, Wheeling, Dealing, and Funding During COVID-19. While the COVID-19 crisis has certainly changed the way we do business, that is remotely via technology platforms like video interface and email, rather than in a conference room or on the golf course in the past, if you had meetings that way. One thing that hasn't changed, that's our subject topic this evening. Investors of all sorts, including high net worth individuals, VCs, angel investors, and institutional investors have funds. Now, you may say, Jim, I'm looking at the stock market. Yes, and it's a roller coaster. Yes, it looks challenging. Yes, however, individuals, high net worth individuals, VCs, angels, investors, and institutional investors have funds. And they are looking for the best way to make them grow. As I've said many times over the past 6-7 sessions, this too will pass. This too being COVID-19. It will pass. We will get through this. However, as we are taking the journey one foot in front of the other, moving through COVID-19, we've got to be planning. We got to be thinking for the future. So once again, there's investors out there, there's entrepreneurs out there, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity. And there is now and post COVID-19. And entrepreneurs are every one of you great entrepreneurs out there, you're seeking access to capital in some form, some way. So what I wanted to do this evening is just to continue to drill down on that a little bit, and I'm going to give you some tools how we should be thinking about when you're looking to seek capital. Now, clearly, one of the questions I'm going to interchange as an entrepreneur to business owner, should consider today is, how is the pandemic impacting my plans? Now, you may have been looking at a new venture prior to this pandemic. You may be right in the middle of this pandemic, and you may be at home, and you may not be working, and that brilliant mind of yours is at work and determine, what am I going to do next? So how is the pandemic impacting my plans, the plans that I have? That's where I want you to stay this evening. I want you to stay in that mindset and that spirit as we go through our session this evening. Now, any new or growing venture must take into account our new economic realities. And as I said last week, the world as we know it will never be the same again. Change is inevitable. We certainly don't need pandemics to slap us in the face, but nonetheless, change is going to occur. And there is going to be a new economic force in front of us. So we're going to continue to build on last week's session, and we're going to continue to drill down on wheeling, dealing, and funding in COVID-19. So what are the visions and the goals of the venture that you may have? What are your visions and goals of the ventures you may have? And how will they be fulfilled? Question. With business closures rampant, will vendors and support services still be available to meet the needs of your new venture? Really got to consider that. With business closures rampant, will vendors and support services still be available to meet the needs of your new venture? What will the supply chain look like? These are all the questions that you need to be sitting in a quiet place, whatever your favorite device. I have many devices, but I love a yellow pad, and I'm scribbling and I'm making notes to myself. I'm doing, and I'm asking questions and I'm answering those questions so it gets into the flow. So what will the supply chain look like for your new venture? Now, pandemic or not, closed economy or open, any entrepreneur or business owner looking for funding must begin with a well thought out plan. And you've heard me say that many times, and especially for you that are watching this evening, that's been in my workshops or work with me, planning, go set it. So you must have a well thought out business plan. And now, in dealing remotely, that business plan must be supported by a concise pitch deck. You probably heard that term many times. So what I'm going to do now, my favorite word is as you're coming to learn, my favorite word, I'm going to drill down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a quick review of what a pitch deck is and what a pitch deck is not. It's really important as you're thinking about this new business that you are contemplating, excuse me, my apology, that you're contemplating or was contemplating prior to COVID-19, or you may be contemplating as a result of COVID-19 and say, my life is changing forever. This is our opportunity to sit back and to explore that. Now, a pitch deck are not to answer all possible questions. That's not a pitch deck. You're not trying to answer all possible questions that an investor would have. A pitch deck is just giving enough information to grab attention. A pitch deck is to tell your story. It's got to be a compelling story. Now, what is it not, and what should you not do in a pitch deck? You should not have too many slides, and I'm gonna give you my recommendation coming up. You cannot have too many slides. You cannot put too much information. You can't have all these wordy slides or the great American novels, all of you are saying a lot of time. You cannot have too much product information or too many financial details. And you cannot belittle your competitors. You can't use false assumptions, false confidence, that's what I like to do, or arrogance. And all of those things are a simple kiss of death, whether you believe it or not. You do any of that, you don't stand a chance. It's a kiss of death. Now, I recommend that you use no more than 14 slides as a challenge. And the reason I do that is that it helps you focus, answer those vital questions in a very concise way, but yet it's very compelling, tells the story, got enough information. All you're trying to do with the pitch deck is to get the investor to say, tell me more. That's what you're looking to do, right? A lot of you that's participating in that, you know this, but again, we're at home and we're in this new economy. I thought it was very appropriate tonight to be able to talk about if you're looking for funding. And we said we got a lot of investors, VCs, high net worth individual, institutional. You got to have a good plan. You got to have a good go. Then you start off with a very concise pitch deck. First slide that you should have is who are you? Who are you? Excuse me. The second slide would be what I refer to and commonly your elevator speech. In other words, it's going to be very concise, that compelling vision, your elevator speech. That third slide you should have is you talk about your traction. Your traction is where are you? What momentum do you currently have? Then slide number 4 should be your market opportunity. What is the market potential? What is the market that you're in and into? And this is going to take a little work to understand your market potential. Slide number 5 should define what is the problem, what is the solution, your product or service, what's the problem, and the solution that you're going to provide. Number 6, then what is the products and services specifically? So I'm going to be very clear that I don't confuse the two. You feel slides to be, what is state the problem? So there's a problem out in the world someplace, and you're going to talk about solution. Then you're going to follow up and say, this is what I do. My new enterprise does this, right? To solve that problem. That's very important. Now, I'm still having a problem with my throat, so my apology. So, slide number 7 is your business model, how you make money. That's simple. 8 is your market approach and your strategy. Slide number 9 would be your key players, your team, your key player, and that's very important. I think I spoke last week about credibility. So you got to have the credibility, and that's what sets you apart from the next person. Number 10, financial summary. Your detailed financials are going to be in your detailed business plan, right? So you got to have your financial summary. Then your competition. You got to say concisely, who's your competition? Then slide number 12 is going to be what I call your ask, your investment. What are you asking for? And that's where you put a recap of everything that you're asking for. And then the other slide you would have is an exit strategy option. And then the 14th slide is your call to action. How do they get in touch with it? So that is a brief review. And for anybody that's watching tonight or watching the replay, if you'd like to have this in a hard form, just send us an email or go to the website, PhDopportunityfund.com, and be able to sign up for it, and we'll send it to you. Now, once you have this pitch deck, the use of video to support a pitch deck is extremely powerful. And during this time of staying at home, it is crucial. So being able to use video to support your pitch deck is a big deal. So an entrepreneur must be comfortable presenting live using any one of the many video conferencing platforms. Be able to apologize when you have to call. So, and I'm having difficulty with my voice, even so I'm going to take a sip of water, if you will pardon me. I know that's not the thing to do, but when you do it, you got to do it in this live. So that's what you do. You just be transparent. So that means honing your camera skills, just like I did with the sip of water, right? So that means honing your camera skills with lots of practice and well-rehearsed answers to all the conceivable questions. I use the term well-rehearsed. Well, people can spot immediately when you're rehearsing or you are just everything comes from memory. That's not what I mean. What I mean is to know your subject and be able to look at a deal every way, 9 ways from Sunday, as I refer to it. Every conceivable thing, what a deal could do, what could go wrong. You got to have the answers for your investor. You got to have the answer. Now, it is worth saying that no matter how comfortable the at-home work or environment is, people holding video business meetings. I'm not going to pitch any platform, but I don't know about you, but I'm on this, here I go to meeting or Zoom or something. I just did that just about all day. It's like it's never ending, right? So holding video business meetings should conduct themselves as they were in the boardroom. Well, in the boardroom, if I had to take a sip of water, I would do that as well, and dress and speak accordingly, right? Now, of course, the entrepreneur also must obtain an investor audience to pitch to. And I often get these questions, well, how do I find the right audience to pitch to? Research. Now, if you're starting from a cold pitch, it's going to necessitate a long process under any circumstances. So research and networking and referrals are always advisable. and will be especially so post COVID-19 as well. So research and referral. Now, another question to ask is, if social distancing continues in the foreseeable future, I think we all believe it will. In my opinion, and again, I'm not a scientist or a medical doctor, but in my opinion, until we get a vaccine, we're not going to stop social distancing and the PPP anytime soon. So another question again is, if social distancing continues into the foreseeable future, can the business be launched? Question mark. And sustain online? Question mark. If that's what we need to do, because we're learning to work remotely, which has its positive and has some setbacks we're going to talk about. Can it be successfully managed and operated remotely, right? The business you're going to launch, can it be successfully managed? Now, I'm not saying that this business would be say an e-commerce platform or something like that, or maybe it is. But whatever it is, you got to ask the question, because we have learned in this pandemic that some people were better prepared than others to have to work remotely, right? So we have got to make sure that whatever business we launch, we've learned anything from this pandemic, can we manage remotely? Can we manage our business remotely? Does it need a new business? Does it need a brick and mortar footprint? Or can you do it some other way? Now, as I said, the pandemic is teaching us that many businesses can indeed be sustained remotely, which has an unforeseen negative impact on the real estate world, especially commercial real estate, offices. They're going to suffer when companies no longer require brick and mortar locations. Let's say, for example, a local domino effect ensues. Auxiliary businesses, from your cafes to your gyms to your print shops, in and around the commercial office environment, will close, will go out of business if we don't have brick and mortar. So we got that dance, we got this balance that we've got to create, right, during this post-COVID-19 world. The ripples are felt through many other industries, including the construction industry, transportation, energy, and retail. How does this new venture fit into this equation? So I just went through a series of questions you need to be asking yourself, and the question that I just got through going through is, can your business be managed remotely? And if we don't need brick and mortar anymore, the effects of that. So again, there's got to be a middle of the road. Now, current business owners need immediate capital. As you probably know, there's another round of the CARES FBA payroll, which is now. If you have not applied, you need to be doing it. You need to be doing it now. You need to be doing it, right? You need to be doing it. Now, I don't think I need to say anything about that further about the businesses that apply that should not be applying. I think I covered that last week. As I told you, when I made those statements last week, I would hear about it, so I did. So that came true, but that's okay. Also shared that I thought the amount of money that's been put into the economy as for this CARES aspect is not enough. We need more, and especially because our small businesses exceed 44 to 50% of the GDP, right? And and form the backbone of our economy. I keep saying that over and over and over each and every session. And I fear that even with this stimulus money, many small businesses will have no way to rebound from this crisis. That's the reason, hopefully, that if you're listening to this live or the replay, I hope you can get from this. Don't give up. That is a reoccurring theme, right? And that's just who I am. we get dealt some pretty bad hands sometimes, but we got to learn how to deal with them. So my message to you: never, never, never give up. We will get through this. Look at this as an opportunity. And I know a lot of you are saying, Jim, I don't know how I'm going to keep the lights up. I understand that as well. And my heart is really, 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 really challenging. That's the reason if you're sitting at home and if you're not doing something to help solve that problem. I remember years ago when I first started, I would do anything, pick up bottles, whatever it took in order to put food on the table. And even at my seasoned age and experience, I would not hesitate to do that again if that's what was required to put food on the table for my family. So I'm saying to you, you may be suffering right now. You may be in pain right now. This stay at home may be getting to all of us, and to include me. I mean, I'm like a cage something sometimes, and my wife would certainly support that. Sometimes it's not the best, not the easiest to get along with because you're just confined, and all we do is work. We seem to work more and more and more. Now, many business owners don't know about the qualified opportunity funds or zones either, right? Now, that's huge, 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 huge area that I encourage you to explore. It's another opportunity to look at your business, and especially if you're sitting at home and you're not familiar with qualified opportunity zones or qualified opportunity funds, go to our website, phtopportunityfund.com, and you're going to find a map under resources, I believe it is, and put in your address. And your address is going to show up on the map, and it's going to tell you where you're in a qualified opportunity zone or not. Now, if you are there, there's some opportunities through these funds. Now, I was doing a great radio show last week. The name of the show was in Chicago, I think it was. And my apologies, Brian. But it was a great interview. And one of the question was, how do we go find funds, opportunity? How do we go find a fund? Well, it's one of the things that's very hard to find right now. So if you're looking for a fund, you're trying to say a search out for a fund that may fit your business, again, just go to the website, phtopportunityfund.com, and just send us a message, and we will direct you in the right way, okay? So there are these great tools available. And like I said, there's still investors available. There's still money available. And don't get too low, and it's just make sure that you take advantage of these resources we're giving you. Now, the opportunity zones and the opportunity funds came from the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and I'm not going to dig into that more. I've addressed it in the past. Maybe we do some more detailed sessions in the future, but just go to the website and learn more about it. I'm not going to spend any time on that tonight. Now, as we head into this protracted means we know there's been some relief for when we got to file our tax, right? Investors will be looking for these capital gains breaks. And the qualified opportunity funds, I said I wasn't talk much about it, but here I go. Qualified opportunity funds are really designed for folks that has capital gains that you can get some benefits and invest in that in qualified opportunity funds, okay? Now, if you are considering any of the businesses or starting a business or saying I'm getting ready to go back to work, you may reconsider. Maybe I don't want to do that again. So all these sessions we're doing is doing everything we possibly can to be able to give you some real tools to help you to make some hard decisions. So that's what our session is about each and every week. So as I said, for this evening, that's all we're going to cover this evening. And you're seeing my wheels turning here. And what I wanted to end with is a little bit off topic, but hopefully it will be helpful. And here's some exercises that I would encourage you to maybe start doing on a daily basis. And that's one that asks the question, what are you grateful for? I don't need to tell you the devastating effect that COVID-19 has had in the United States and around the globe. I think last week's session we've surpassed the death rate that we had the entire period of Vietnam. So for us that are healthy, so what are we grateful for? Your health and your family, and support of your family. And I do this on a daily basis, not necessarily first thing in the morning or during the day. I normally just take a white pad, a yellow pad, and I will write, what am I grateful for? And then I'll just start writing down my responses. And it's so therapeutic, and it helps us keep us in the moment, in the zone. So once again, as we conclude this evening, I ask you, once we go off air, maybe you can sit down, take a pad, and say, what are you grateful for? And start listing all the things that you're grateful for and all the blessings that we have. Even though you may be wondering where you're going to make your next meal, there's always something that we can find to be grateful for. Now, we encourage people to send in questions. We've had some questions. There's a question that came in, and it had to do with grants. I'm going to attempt to answer it this way because the question was somewhat vague. For if you're listening, and if you can get more specific, send us an email, and we'll try to help you further. But the question was, how do I go find a grant? Well, there's many places to look for grants. I think I shared with you that Facebook was making $100 million available. And you need to, as first place, you go look at that. We'll see what Facebook is doing and bring up the survey. So if you're looking for the grants, there's all types of grants, and you need to be more specific. What are you looking for? So if you can't find it by searching our favorite search, whatever your favorite search engine is, send us an email, more specific. We'd be happy to help you the best we can. And also the question was, if I'm in business for myself, should I have 2 bank accounts? I always respond yes. I'm not going to give legal advice, or cannot. I'm not qualified to do so, but I always try to separate that. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, you just do it, then probably not. But it would be a good practice to always have 2 accounts. So with that, I'm going to thank you for your time. I'm going to thank you for being interested in our webinars, and we're going to continue to do everything that we can to bring you solid content each and every week that you can put to work immediately. So with that, I'm going to thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good rest of your week, and we will talk to you next week. Good night.
Thank you for your participation and interest in Jim White's Opportunity Investing webinar. To stay in touch with Jim, please go to www.opportunityinvesting.com.